drive a car like this 1902 Yale, it's difficult to imagine what it was like in an age when everyone was used to horses to suddenly be traveling with this kind of speed. It's absolutely remarkable to consider, and to think about the pioneering age of the horseless carriage to the birth of the practical automobile. It's an extraordinary moment in technology and human history. And just the fact that in 2020 we can drive a car that's this old and actually quite usable. This particular car is manufactured by the Kirk Manufacturing Company, Toledo, Ohio. And like many early manufacturers of cars, they were bicycle manufacturers that branched out. And they built very sophisticated cars. This car is a two-cylinder, nearly 300 cubic inches, and produces 10 horsepower, which is quite commanding for the time. And this is a car, certainly all cars at this time were cars for the ultra-wealthy. But this is a car that really was for the top end of the market. A car like this sold for about $1,500 in 1902, a considerable amount of money when you think about the fact that most people earned in the hundreds of dollars a year. As was the case with many early manufacturers, the Yale was gone. Kirk was out of the manufacturing business by 1905. But the cars they made were very sophisticated. One of the great joys of driving a car like this today is the fact that there are still events for enthusiasts of cars like this, and the fact that cars like this are enjoyed by so many today belies the conventional wisdom that all collecting of cars follows a very tight bell curve. You know, that we all enjoy the cars that we lusted after as teenagers, and we were finally able to afford them in our 40s and 50s. We bought them to enjoy. Well, obviously, the people that lusted after this Yale in their teenage years are long gone, and yet there are still hundreds of thousands of enthusiasts around the world that still enjoy driving cars like this. And they range in age from the very young, teenagers, to people who are in their 70s and 80s. And every year they get to enjoy these cars in a very special way in the great London to Brighton Rally. The Audrain Collection ran this car in the London to Brighton Rally recently, and it was an absolute delight by all reports. To have a nice, powerful two-cylinder car like this means that you can actually pull hills and make speed that is not possible in some of the other smaller, more simple cars. But the London to Brighton Rally also tells us so much about the early days of automobile travel. The London to Brighton Rally celebrates the passage, or the repeal rather, of the Flag Act, which was a law in the UK that held that every locomotive on the road, a road locomotive, had to have someone in front of it waving a red flag to warn pedestrians and horses that a non-horse vehicle was on the way. Needless to say, it held back the progress of automobiles considerably, and the repeal of this act in 1904 really started the adoption of the motor vehicle as a usable, practical form of transportation. And so each year, this rally is held to celebrate the banning of the event, and only cars produced before 1904 are eligible to compete. And so this car is 1902, certainly is eligible to compete, dated by the Vintage Car Club of the UK, and in fact has competed in the London to Brighton twice. It's an event I've never done, but I would welcome the opportunity, especially aboard a luxurious and powerful car like this Yale. This is amazing motoring, and something that really is a special feature of the Audrain collections. There are not many collections in the world that have cars ranging from 1899 to 2021, and we get to experience the full range of automotive history, and it's a delight, even if it's a bit cold.